I've heard you talk about this as well. I was in Europe and twice this past year, and I eat things that I don't normally eat here. So I'll eat bread when I'm in Europe the whole time. And, I'm convinced maybe one of your sayings about olive oil is I eat so much bread, but I dip it and soak it in the olive oil, and it's quality, great olive oil, or even milk. Like in the airport in Greece, I had buffalo milk ice cream. And I don't eat ice cream at all. I haven't eaten ice cream in 5 years, but even gelato occasionally in Italy. Like these are things that the way that it's made are completely different. Speak to the listeners, why is it that some of these things are okay in some places and not in others? Because I think it's such a great point that you make.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems, and I have a number of patients who, we cure them of their autoimmune disease. I don't like to use that word, and they go to Europe, and who can resist? They have the croissants, and they have the pasta and the pizzas, and they have the gelato, and they don't react, and they go, "Oh, Dr. Gundry has cured me. I can have all these things." And they come back to the United States and they have our bread and our pizza and our yogurt. And within a couple of weeks, they're on the phone going,
Yep.
"What the heck? My psoriasis just flared, or, I got bloody diarrhea. What the heck? I thought I was cured." No, they have very little glyphosate in Europe. And particularly in Southern Europe, their cows are A2 cows. And I'll have patients going, I'm lactose intolerant, and there's no lactose in the gelato in Italy because I can tolerate it just fine. I go, there's plenty of lactose in gelato in Italy, but it's A2 milk, and your buffalo ice cream was A2. And lots of their cheeses, the sheep is A2, goat is A2, and most of the cows in France and Italy and Switzerland are A2 cows. So that's why people did just fine. But again, it's the glyphosate in our food. Most of our foods are completely contaminated with glyphosate. Even our wines are contaminated with glyphosate. We just entertained some friends over in Italy who, the wife in particular says, "Oh, I can't have red wine because I get really bad headaches." And we said, maybe you ought to give it a try over here. And I'd go, alcohol's very low in it. And she started drinking like a fish. And, next morning, any headaches? No. No, the alcohol is much lower. And then I'd show her the bottle. And I go, well, actually, it's the same or maybe even higher. Well, what the heck? It's sulfites. No, I said, look, it says sulfites on the bottle. And it's the dumb glyphosate that we spray. All of our vines are sprayed with glyphosate.
It's a major difference. I mean, we went to a couple Tuscan wineries, and I brought a couple bottles back, and one of my great buddies is a level 2 som, and we sat and opened a bottle and then got into the second bottle. And the next morning I was like, tell me how crazy it is that if we drank a California red the same way, we would be sick for a week. But, we had a cup, maybe a glass or two more than we normally would, because he probably has a little more than I would, but the norm is it's part of his job. He has to.
Sure, he has to.
He has to. It's part of his job. And it's like you and the diet, like he has to do it. But the point is that it's such a major difference that how you feel, that you don't have to convince anybody. That should be the easiest thing to trial on yourself, is just have some wine there and some wine here and look at the differential. Your body will thank you. If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.